Harriet Tubman not only made it, she went back and got some more. She said, you know what, I made it, but I'm going to walk all, listen to me, shh, not ride the bus. I'm going to walk all the way back down to the South to get some more. And you quitting on 1825? Now watch this. You quit after you, listen to me, you get a sleeping bag and you wait for them. You wait for the first WRA instructor to come in and you come out your sleeping bag, I need help. You quit after you do that. You quit after you had, listen to me, a WRA party. I'm having a party. Everybody come over. I got food, everything. And let them get over there. Let it be all the best writers. All right, I food y'all. I want to have a writing party. I'm serious. You quit and you ain't even tried yet. Last one. I'm sorry. Last one. Listen to me. Pain is temporary. It may last for a minute or an hour or a day or even a year. But eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever. Listen to me, I'm telling you as I leave. I'm telling you as I leave, I was homeless for 2.5 years. And the problem with most of you never felt no pain before. Y'all spoiled. Y'all spoiled. Some of y'all spoiled, just bottom line. Your parents have done everything for you. You never had to do nothing for yourself. You're spoiled. We're going to keep it real tonight. Some of you are spoiled brats. Every time you ever got in trouble, somebody in your house got you out of it. Every time you've done something you're not supposed to do, people say, Eric, your mother's a tyrant. You're right. She kicked me out. You're right. She's mean, but she developed a man because she put me out there and said, you're going to have to grow up. And some of you have never learned to grow up. And so every time something get hard, you quit, you call mama. I dare you to take a little pain. I dare you. I dare you not to go home. Somebody said, I can't go home, I feel bad. Go through it. You ain't gonna die. At the end of pain is success. You're not gonna die because you're feeling a little pain. I'm not eating like I eat at home. That's why you're about to go to the next level, because if you keep eating like you ate at home, you'll keep being a boy or a girl. It's time to become man, woman. So don't worry about a little pain. My greatest asset is I was homeless, so I can't feel a whole lot of pain. I've already been alone. There's not a whole lot of hurt I can feel on a little paper, on a little test. So I leave you, listen to me. We have gotten to a point where it's midterms and we're moving forward. The days of you getting money, I'm not saying we quitting, but I'm saying the day has got to go from external to internal. You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying. Get off the phone. I'm sorry, I'm not available until the end of this year. No, I'm for real. You reached the right number, but you called me at the wrong time. Call me back January 1st. I'm about to get busy now. Huh? I want you to have a countdown of your own and say when the countdown is over, we're the real, watch me, because when I was homeless, I knew something was wrong. I knew that wasn't the best of me. And one day I said, will the real Eric Thomas please stand up? Will the real Eric Thomas please stand up? Stop being this high school dropout. Stop giving up. Stop sleeping on the street. Stop walking up and down Fecal Avenue like you ain't got nothing, and get your GED. Stop being afraid to take a test. Stop being afraid to go to college because your daddy didn't go and your mama didn't go. Stop being afraid and be the best Eric Thomas you can be. But listen to me, it's going to be hard. It took me 12 years to get a 4-year degree, but I got it. And guess what? On a degree, it don't have dates. So if it took you 4 and it took me 12, it don't show up nowhere. But I'm exactly where I wanted to be because I realized I got to commit my very being to this thing. I gotta breathe it, I gotta eat it, I gotta sleep it. And until you get there, you'll never be successful in life. But once you get there, I guarantee you, the world is yours. So work hard and you can have whatever it is you want. Thank you guys for your time.
GN Bank has come on board. Hooray! Did you take a loan from the Student Loan Trust Fund for your tertiary education? Having challenges on how to pay back the student loan? Relax. You can now pay your student loan at GN Bank. GN Bank, the bank that provides unparalleled excellence in service anytime, any place, and anywhere. The good news is that you don't have to be a customer of GN Bank before you can repay your loan. All you need is to walk into any branch of GN Bank nationwide and make your payment. GN Bank can also set up a standing order or undertake transfers directly from a person's account to that of Student Loan Trust Fund. But this is for interested persons who will open an account with us. Remember to pay your student loan in any of our 108 locations nationwide. For more information, call us on 0302 218855 or 020 2220 or email us at info@gnbank.com. You can also visit our website www.gnbankghana.com. GN Bank, the People's Bank.
Is it really the case that new regime means new laws, new policies and new people to manage Ghana's economy? Are you satisfied with the way policies and laws are being implemented in the country? Well, no need to worry, as Policy Desk fills you in with socio-economic and political issues that needs attention to drive Ghana's developmental agenda. My name is Winston Tackie and I'll be your host on Policy Desk. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. as we dig deep into issues of national interest. Policy Desk, implementation is what we advocate. Good evening and welcome to Policy Desk Live on BTA. This is your most exclusive current affair program where we discuss issues from objective perspective, discussing policies that are critical for ensuring development inclusively across all the sectors in the country. This evening we're going to be touching on a very interesting sector that has not really been getting the limelight, but this evening we're going to be throwing more light into it and bringing out quite interesting development for quite some time now. Probably let me just say my name is Winston Tackie. The show is also streaming live on our website on www.businesstelevisionafrica.com. But you wonder what we'll be touching on this evening. First of all, let's go for the mini documentary. Where we come back, I'll be introducing my panelists here in the studio and we go straight to the analysis. Stay tuned.
Insurance penetration in Ghana as a percentage of gross domestic product (GDP) is growing at a slower pace against the expectations of financial experts. As of June 2015, commercial banks in Ghana owned 75% of the assets in the financial sector, while insurance companies own just 5%. Measured as a percentage of GDP, insurance penetration still remains below 2% after hovering around 1.5% for many years, while South Africa, Namibia, Mauritius and Kenya have penetration rates of 14.5%, 7.5%, 5.7% and 3.17% respectively. According to the African Insurance Organization Report 2014, even though the Bank of Ghana and the National Insurance Commission have granted license to over 20 banks to operate banking insurance services, the product is barely patronized by the banking population due to lack of education. Another major hindrance in the insurance penetration is the large unbanked population of over 70%, most of whom are in the informal sector. Tonight on BTA Politics, we throw more light on pursuing an exclusive insurance policy framework towards bridging the gap between the insurer and the insured. Enjoy.
Welcome back to Policy Dex Live on BT. As the mini deco a state indeed, we will be discussing the case of insurance policy in Ghana pursuing inclusivity and ensuring that most of the policies that have been drafted in the constitution and that favors insurance sector have really been followed to the latter. But this evening, there's been a lot of contention in various sectors and what insurance really means, and also the perception about insurance. All of them will be addressed this evening on Policy Dex. I'm sure those who have really subscribed to the pension scheme are really wondering how much of my pension scheme is really allocated to myself, and who is the trustee, what are the strategies and model of operandi of how the payment is being done. All these questions and assertions will be addressed this evening. Possibly the health insurance scheme is also one aspect we'll be touching on, and as well, and many interesting segments and sectors in the country's whole insurance sector will be addressed this evening. And if you're watching us in your homes and you wondered how can I be part of the show, you can just take your phones and send your messages through the WhatsApp line on 0206 583 547 0206 583 547. And in the course of the show, we will definitely be activating the phone lines for you to call into the show. As we say, BTA, we always bring you the most exclusive issue discussed from objective perspective right here on Policy Dex. This evening, and I have insurance expert with me here in the studio. I have Mr. Kwadwo Owusu. He's an executive director with Insure Ghana Foundation on my immediate right, and also Joe Latte Asirifi is an operations coordinator with Insure Ghana Foundation. Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
How's it going?
Good to see you again.
Oh, great.
This is the first time we are meeting this year, so Happy New Year.
Oh, thank you. That's quite a lighter note. Before we even delve to the various discussion this evening, I'm sure we are all aware of today. Today is International Women's Day, and women, like we say, play a critical role in our development. All Mother's Day are being celebrated, but when it comes to Father's Day, we hear little about it. But today being Women's Day, what is your message to women? Basically, and your whole idea about how this day should be acknowledged, Joel.
Well, on the large scale, we all know that the men have always got the upper hand over women. So I tend to agree with women when they fight for affirmative action. I know some men will be out there trying to squeeze my head, but basically, I agree with that, and it's a laudable idea. My big remarks will go to the NIC commissioner, who is a lady, Miss Lydia Babawa. She has brought tremendous improvement in the insurance sector, and I really say kudos to her and kudos to all women in the world.
Indeed. Eddie?
Yeah, I think I would join Joel in saying happy Women's Day to our women. My boss is a woman, so I know what women can do. So happy Women's Day to all of them. My boss, Leila Kamara.
Wow, such a simple message. And like we always say, happy Women's Day. Some just woke up this morning, happy Mother's Day, say it's not a Mother's Day. It's an International Women's Day. So all women are involved, and women are tremendously doing a lot of work across all divide. You are the life force, you are the carrier of the in nature's own embodiment. Creation is multiplied by your own dimension, your handiwork, how you groom, you put value, instill discipline in the children of every country. The values of every country dependent on the kind of mothers and that are always grooming our children. We have to say kudos to all women around the world. You're doing a fantastic job. Now let's come back to the issue at hand. We're going straight to the insurance sector. But first of all, but before you get something or before you take something, you want to understand what it really means. Let's start from the basic. When they say insurance, what it really does insurance means. Let me come to my guest here in the studio. Insurance is a terminology that consistently we hear in our dispensation, in the business dispensation. Have you insured your car? I say, how can I insure my car? What does it mean? People said you have to insure your life because you're going to die. It's been a consistent conversation going on in our discourse community. But first of all, when they say insurance, what does it mean, basically, Joe?
Okay, I'll take insurance in a simple context so that our viewers will be able to understand. Insurance simply means protection. So protection. So let's take our mind off the business aspect and let's put our mind on protection. So, for instance, I come into the studio, I bring a jacket. Why do I bring the jacket? There's a likely possibility that here will be cold because of the air condition. So I bring the jacket here as a form of insurance, just in case here is too cold, I put it on. It's not certain that this room will be cold, but the jacket is a form of protection. Just in case this room is cold, I put it on. If it's not, I don't put it on. So basically, that's the understanding of insurance. So let me also use this particular example. Now you leave home. You are your car is in a good shape, but you still put in the toolkit in your boot. Why do you do that? It's a form of insurance. Your tire is in good shape, your engine is in good shape, but you still put the toolkit in your car trunk. It's a form of insurance because you might not know what happened. So you are just safeguarding yourself. Just in case something happens, you are covered.
Indeed. So in the financial dispensation, we can also say that savings is a form of insurance?
Yeah.
Awesome. So some also have perceived that if that's the case, then if I'm to insure myself, I get a protection, like you mentioned, isn't the police service there to do that?
Protection.
Yes.
Okay, one, the police is mandated by the law to protect the citizens of the country. That's their core duty. That's the police. The army and other sector also have their core duties. So, in the broader sense, you can take it that way. But if you want to bring it to the business and real insurance sense, the reason why that is the case is that it's bringing together a group of people. If you take into consideration the examples I made reference to, they are individuals trying to safeguard themselves. But if you bring it to the business context, they are a group of people coming together to safeguard each other by contributing something little. So the three of us, ideally, if I want to save to put up a house, so I'll save, let's say, 10,000 cedis, so that just in case something happens, I'll use it to rebuild my house. Now, if the three of us come together, then we say, okay, now in a year we all need, if you contribute 10,000, you get 30,000 to put up the house, which is costing maybe also 30,000. If I'm the only one trying to save, I'm going to save a longer time to be able to get that 30,000. But if we come together and we are trying to save together, you see that the money we are going to contribute will be lower. And we also anticipate that, okay, in a year, maybe your house might get damaged. So the contributions that we've made, we'll use that contribution to what? To put up your building. The next year, if it's my building, we use that money to put up my building. So basically, that's the whole idea of insurance.
It sounds very basic. So if that is a basic, then let's get to the secondary. So a secondary part of the insurance has more to do with the law. And in that sense, what does the law say in terms of citizens and us as individuals complying with what in the law really says about insurance?
Okay, basically, let me
get Edward to
okay.
shortly.
All right, so we are getting into the secondary.
Yeah.
Let me add something to what Joel said. Insurance is a form of financial security. It cushions you in the event of a loss or the unexpected happens. So what does the law says? We have the Insurance Act, which regulates the insurance industry here in Ghana. So, and we have some compulsory insurances that you're supposed to comply with. We have the third party motor insurance, which is compulsory. And why is it compulsory? You know, before that law came into being, there was nothing like that, and people were being knocked down here and there, and they were not getting compensated because a car knocks you down, the person can't even run away. So the law came into being that at least for the basic, the third party should be compulsory, and out of that, there's a fund set aside so that if there's even a hit and run, and the driver runs away, you can even fall on what we call the compensation fund and you get compensated. In Ghana here too, it's also compulsory for commercial buildings, both under construction or in operation, to be insured against fire.
Okay.
So you are constructing your building for a commercial purpose, you have to insure it. You have a place that you are operating, for instance, Coconut Grove is a commercial place, and you need to have insurance in place because you transact business, people come here. What if something happens? That one too is compulsory. Then the workman compensation is also compulsory. Just that there's an exception to that one. That one, the law says that either you set aside 2 million Ghana cedis or you go for that policy. So if you're an organization and you can set aside that money, then you don't have to go for the insurance. Other than that, you need to take insurance on your employees. And in my opinion, I think that it's more wiser to do that because you pay a lesser premium than setting aside that huge money which can be invested into the business to make profit out.
I think we'll come to that shortly, why companies have now decided to make them for themselves private insurance for themselves instead of subscribing to the national individualistic form of pension payment or SNP payment. But now let's move to another very interesting aspect. We know we've spoken about the basics. Now let's address certain myths before we get to the details. Already Edward has made mention of the fact that there's motor insurance, building insurance. These are something which are very critical. We'll come to that also. But let's ascertain certain myths. You walk by the street and you see the insurance penetration, the companies keep erupting. We see now Ghana is becoming quite growing in terms of insurance understanding, but yes, still, any time there's a seminar being addressed, the concept of insurance education always pops up. Why is insurance education low in Ghana at the moment, Edward?
Okay. I think the NIC is trying its best to educate people, but I think there's more to be done. Because, first of all, I think insurance education is low because of the negative perception out there. People don't even really want to listen to. You go to places, you talk about insurance, and they just want to catch you up because they feel like insurance people are thieves. They don't even want to be educated. And you live in a country or on a continent where people find it difficult to read. So people will not read the policy document. People don't be educated on insurance because they feel like insurance people are just in there to get people's money, and when there's a claim, because insurance is intangible. It's not something like you can touch, like this glass is here. If I want to buy this glass, I can assess it and know if it's quality before I buy it. But insurance is a promise that we are selling, that buy this product, if something happens, you get compensated. If nothing happens, you don't. But the thing people don't really get is that insurance is a pool, like Joel said initially. We all come together as a group, we contribute towards a common pool. So if something happens, so we say that the contribution of the many is used to pay for the loss of the few. So many people contribute into the pool. So then if something happens, we pay the few that have issues with that. But people don't really understand it in that direction. Somebody comes and he feels like I've paid a premium, so if nothing happens, then some people can even tell you I should come back for my money, but they don't take into consideration the fact that others who are also in the pool are benefiting from it. So I think there's more education to be done and more awareness to be created, because if you educate people and you don't create awareness, you are just doing a cost-90 work.
Could it probably be because somehow insurance marketers sound like politicians? You come out with promises and you exaggerate the potential of the policy and therefore make it quite difficult for the individual to subscribe to a particular one that best suits his income structure.
No, I would say that insurance is a contract. And every contract is bound by terms and conditions. So I'm entering into a contract with you. Okay, you're supposed to read the contract document. I'm also supposed to be read. If we are on the same page, then we enter into the contract. So mostly what happens is that I come to you as an insurance agent wanting to sell you a policy. I'll tell you my side. What you have to do as a buyer is also to read and understand the policy and know that no, I don't want this. So let's take this out, let's add this, because there are modifications that can be done to the policies. So if there's a contract, I present mine to you because of course I am selling. I want you to buy what I'm selling. So I will try to use persuasive words to convince you to buy my document or what I'm selling. It behoves on you to also read and understand that indeed this is what I'm going into. If this happens, this and this and this and that are what I'm supposed to do to get compensated. But if you don't do that and there's a claim, then insurance is a legal document. Then they'll go back to the document and say no, this and this and that. That's when the whole issue comes up that when you are selling the policy, he said this and that and that, but when the claim is in, they are telling me a different story.
Indeed.
Yeah, so I think what we all need to do, it all forms part of the education. When somebody comes to you wanting to sell you insurance policy, get to understand the policy you are buying before you even agree to the contract.
Before you even do that, the selling and buying comes in, there must be understanding.
Yes.
Which you made mention of. So with over 70% of unbanked population, which are mostly in the informal sector, it appears that you made mention of the lack of reading habits amongst Ghanaians, which you made mention as one of the leading problems, challenges probably, why marketing insurance have become difficult. Therefore, why don't you find quite simplistic ways to market insurance policy, local language, how indigenous Ghanaians are in terms of getting access to a market woman, explaining such a policy to her. How challenging will it be, possibly? Because it's business, and business you have to break barriers.
Exactly, and that's what informed us even forming IGF, to go out there and educate people on insurance. So it depends on the community that we come to. When I remember we did a program at Dodowa, and most of them they speak Ga, so we went with somebody who could speak Ga, so he could speak to them for them to understand their policy. And most what we do is that when we go to places, we try to use examples for people to understand. So you go to a marketplace, there are often market fires, and you see people crying, calling on the government to come support them. So you use set scenarios to explain to them that, look, the fire raises down your shop and everything is gone. But if you buy an insurance policy, and by the way, let me just chip in that fire insurance is one of the cheapest on the market. You tell the person, if you insure your shop for this amount, you are paying this low amount. So if there's fire, we are not praying that fire should occur, but if there's fire, you get compensated. So I think for people to understand, we need to use more of examples and scenarios so that they can identify or relate to it. Once they can relate to what you are telling them, I believe they will come on board.
Indeed. Let's stay on a more familiar example, like you made mention fire, which is for the past 4 years we've seen market fires consistently. All we acknowledge is the fact that fire service are doing their job, they are quenching fires, but when you look at the losses that is always calculated after the fire outbreak, it's quite enormous. People losing huge amounts of money, loans that they've gone to subscribe to, and now they can't pay. All this becomes a burden on the individual and on the nation. But now let's look at the benefits of insurance to marketers and businesswomen and marketwomen. What is there that you believe could best suit that condition, that is the informal sector, especially the market woman? Before you do that, can you explain this terminology? Edward made mention of claim. When they say claim, what is claim? I don't really get it.
Okay.
When they say insurance claim.
Okay. As Eddie said earlier on, insurance is a form of a promise that you're selling. So you promise that if there is a loss, the loss meaning that if there is a damage to an insured property, so if I've insured this glass and against, let's say, breakage, and it falls down and breaks, per the policy terms and conditions is covered, that is a loss. So now you're entitled to a claim amount. The claim amount could be, say, 1,000 cedis. That's the value of the glass. So the claim is the amount the insured is due when the loss occurs.
Okay.
Basically, that's a claim. Yeah.
Is it always
compensation?
Compensation. Is it always in monetary term or in restoration of the full item? Basically?
There are so many ways of paying a claim. There's replacement, there's reinstatement, there's repairs, and also there's money payment.
Interesting.
So yeah, basically.
All right. So in the case of a market fires, how does the insurance corporation or laws treat those instances?
In Ghana, most claims are made through monetary term in payment terms. So in terms of the claim payment, they assess the loss, the damage that are caused. Most often they bring in third parties. Example, loss adjusters. If the risks, if they have to do some risk survey about the losses, loss adjusters are professionals who claim professionals. So they come in, assess the damage that has been caused, inform the insurers, and give them feedback. So they are able to determine the quantum of damage. So based on that, the insurers come in and pay you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's been assessed that insurance companies worldwide are the multi-billion companies in the world. This information is quite confidential because of how much pools of money they compare consistently, but yet still it's been a subtle sector where little is heard about, but they are quietly making money. So let's delve back to the perception why individuals intentionally damage their insured property with the objection of coming to make claims. How is that a challenge to the corporation?
Yeah, it's a very big challenge. It's a very, very big challenge because as Eddie said earlier, somebody sits down and say, I've been paying premiums for about 10 years, no damage to my car, no damage to my property. So why don't I intentionally push it somewhere into a gutter and get a claim and come for it? Fraudulent claims is a very hectic issue to insurers. So if you go outside, there are so many ways that insurers have come together just to clear this canker. So it's a big issue, very big issue. It's maybe those outside may not see how insurers are really battling with this issue because people get away with it. People come in, say all sorts of lies, plan the thing very well, and get away with this. So insurers are really suffering with this canker.
I asked this question because I saw a video of one of the Asian countries, which I'm not going to mention names, where when the car is moving at a full speed, individuals literally jump across the car just to be hit in order to have access to their health insurance claims. And you know, that is the extent that individuals can go just to access claim, because that is why I'm asking this question. I'm sure, Eddie, you have some light to throw on that.
Yeah.
Because there is being perceived that life insurance claims is quite enormous compared to any other asset comparatively.
Yeah, it's true, and I think it all comes down back to you reading the policy document and understanding it. Because, for instance, somebody takes a life insurance policy for, say, death, right? And the person comes that, oh, I took this policy on my mom. My mom is dead. How do you prove that? Because in as much as you are paying premiums, insurance companies too are there to make profit, to pay their staff. Okay, so those want to do their investigation to find out that they are paying out genuine monies. Okay, because insurance, the principle of insurance, you're not supposed to benefit from insurance. That's the principle of indemnity. So if you make a claim, they need to also do their investigation to ascertain that the claim you are putting in is indeed genuine and you are entitled to the claim amount that you want to claim. So somebody walks in, I took this life insurance policy on my mom, she's dead. How do I prove that? They'll ask you to bring a police report or a medical report to confirm that indeed the person is no more. And you know, in our part of the world, these things delay in getting these documents. And so if it delays like that, then the people will think that, oh, these people are just using tactics or means to delay our claim. So I think what people need to understand is that if some of these things happen, quickly work on these documents and you get paid quickly. Because trust me, if you submit all your documents within 7 days per the NIS, you're supposed to be paid your claim. Once you've submitted all documentations, your police report, medical report, suggesting that indeed the person is dead and is being confirmed, you're supposed to be paid. But the issue is that fraudulent claims, somebody has bought insurance for a long time. It feels like I've been contributing and I'm not making anything out of it. And you know, in our system, there's no centralized data to track some of these things, so there are loopholes in our system. So for instance, somebody can take an insurance on, like for a car, let me use motor for example. I have a car, can insure it with company A and insure the same thing with company B. I said, okay, fine, I've insured this car for 60,000. Let me make profit. Let me claim on company A and company B. So he goes to burn the car, goes to company A, claims, go to company B, and claims as well. So he makes profit out of that. Because our system is not centralized. So if you come to company A, company B will not be able to detect that he's made a claim here. And that's one challenge that I think that the industry has to look at to resolve. So there are a lot of challenges in the system. People just sit up, because I have a personal experience. I met somebody, he wanted to insure his bulldozer, and he told me that this is how much I bought the thing for. He wants to connive with me, let's insure it. Later we go back to tell the insurance company that it's been stolen. Now I was telling him that no, if this thing is stolen, you need to get a police report. And what he told me was that getting a police report is not the issue. You understand how people really think in there, because they feel like we are paying monies, and like you said, people see insurance companies that they have money. But trust me, they pay claims too. So the fact that some you see the insurance company driving big cars going around, they are also paying claims. That's why I said that if you are not making a claim, it doesn't mean that somebody else is not making a claim, because it's a pool. So for instance, you buy your Range Rover, 300,000, you pay a premium of say 3,000 or 4,000. God forbid, if there's a total loss, you're supposed to be paid that 300,000, or you're supposed to be given a new car to that same level. Have you asked yourself how they are going to get the money to pay you? So I think it all comes down to the education. People really need to be educated and understand their policies. And once we all understand their policies, then I think we'll all be on the same page and everybody will be happy.
Indeed. You're watching Policy Desk live on BTA. This evening we are touching on the insurance policy in Ghana. There's been a lot of discussion, a lot of experiences, a lot of individuals. You buy a new car, you're wondering what next. All your conversation goes to, I have to insure my car. People build houses, you have to insure your building. Fire market, every business, if you don't insure your business, fire outbreak and unforeseen circumstances come up, you're wondering where can I get it done? What policy are there for me? Which law in Ghana? Yes, we are discussing your provisions in the law that gives you education information as to the next approach to take to make your claim, or possibly to know how best you can insure your needed properties in Ghana. But we'll also be moving to a very familiar aspect, which is cars. Everybody has a car. You go by truck drivers, businessmen. You also have a car. I do have a car, but it's yet to be driven. So yeah, so let's see. Indeed, motor insurance is a familiar one amongst ordinary Ghanaians, yes. And so, can you take us to what it really entails, Joe?
Okay, so
motor insurance, yeah.
So the motor insurance worldwide is driven by an act, and Ghana is no exception. And we have the Motor Insurance Third Party Act that we use in Ghana. The spirit of the act is to protect the third party, negligent third party. So the basic cover is a third party insurance cover. Third party insurance cover simply means that, as the name implies, third party. So any third party's property that is damaged, or third party bodily injury, or third party death. That's the basic cover. That's the third party insurance cover.
But you just hit on third party before you just start again. When you say third party, is it a third person going to a party? Or
people have the perception that since it's insurance, your car is covered. But the understanding should be that it's a third party insurance cover. The parties are the insurance company and the insured. Those are the two main parties. The third party is not part of the insurance contract, but because of the invention of motor cars, there were accidents. So they drafted an act to protect innocent third parties, pedestrians, market women, any third party who is not part of the contract. So you take the policy. If you don't want to safeguard your car, it's not the government's problem, but you need to safeguard the interests of the third party. So basically, that's the third party cover. You are taking the insurance cover so that just in case you destroy somebody's assets, the insurance company comes in and pays the damage for you.
And what does our law says about that, basically?
Okay, basically, the cover is a 2,000 Ghana cedi cover for property damage. So for third party property damage, the limit is 2,000 cedis, but you have the option to increase it. It could be that maybe you are driving by the roadside, you go and hit somebody's Mercedes Benz. That damage is more than the 2,000 Ghana cedis. So maybe you might say, okay, I'm taking a third party cover, or maybe I don't have money to take comprehensive. So the third party cover, I want to increase my third party property damage limit to say 10,000 or 15,000. The standard is 2,000, but maybe you want to increase it to 10,000 or 15,000. It's possible. So that just in case you damage somebody's goods, which is more than that, which is more than the 2,000, then your insurance covers. But if you take the standard cover, it's blank. It just covers up to the 2,000, then the rest is your own cost.
Interesting.
But for bodily injury, it's unlimited, because you can't put price on human life. So for bodily injury, it's unlimited. So based on negotiation on the company, or if it drags something that insurance don't want to hear court, the amount that the court puts on it, that's what yeah.
And how long does it take to really get these issues resolved, basically third-party cases? Because the to and fro's is what mostly individuals want to avoid, and therefore they tend to subscribe to other means of making their claims instead of just going to law court where they have to hire judges and stuff, lawyers basically. Yes, you can hire judges. Serious case. That was what they came first time. All right. So why the long process, the bureaucracy?
Okay, basically that's what Eddie mentioned earlier on. This part of the world, getting legal documents are kind of difficult. You go to the police station, you want the police reports. The to and fro it's not the to and fro in the insurance company. That's one perception people have. It's the to and fro in the insurance in the police station or the hospital. But as Eddie said earlier, if you bring your documents, everything is set. Latest within 7 days, your claim should be paid to you.
7 days?
Yes. The NIC has brought a requirement, claim processing procedure. So every insurer needs to abide by it.
Indeed. Yeah. I'm sure, Edward, you have some light to throw on this motor policy.
There's something I want to add to what Joe said with respect to the claims. So, a third party, like I said, insurance is a contract, like I said initially. So, it's the contract between the insurer and the insured. So, if there's a claim, if you've taken a third party policy, it means that the third party has to come and claim on you. So I bought my car, I have a third party policy, I run into somebody's property. It's a third party that has to claim on me, the insured. Then I will notify my insurers that this person is claiming on me for this specific amount. So because the third party is not part of the contract, how do we ascertain or how do we confirm that indeed this person is making a claim? Depending on the extent of damage, you'll be requested to bring maybe a police report to confirm it. And that's when the delay comes in. But if it's an own damage claim, when you get to comprehensive, maybe we'll explain that one sometimes even without a police report you can still go ahead and get your claim paid. But when there's a third party involved, there should be a police report to confirm it. Or especially if there's injury or death, you need something to prove or to back the claim that you are making. And once all these documents are submitted, your claim will be paid to you quickly.
So briefly on the comprehensive, because the details of it is sometimes not too clear to individuals.
Okay, so let me start by saying that there are 3 types of motor policies. We have the third party, fire and theft, and we have the comprehensive. So the third party is the basic. It's compulsory. Each car must have a third party insurance, and people buy it because, especially the taxi drivers, they buy it because the police will disturb them, but they don't know why they should buy it. So we still need to educate them. The third party fire and theft, that one they've added fire and theft to it. So if your car is stolen or your car is damaged by fire, then you get compensated as the insured. Then we have the comprehensive cover, which is a more comprehensive. So that one, when there's a damage, your car gets freezed and the third party's car also gets freezed. But there's a limit on the third party property damage, which is also, I think it's 3,000 now for comprehensive. But like Joel said, you have the option to increase it. Or if there are a fleet of cars, there's something we call an umbrella liability, where you can buy an umbrella liability cover on your policy, so that if there's a damage and it exceeds your standard limit, then the umbrella liability will set in to offset that. So the comprehensive is what we will advise or we will encourage people to go in for, even though that one is more expensive compared to the third party, because the comprehensive is computed or calculated based on the sum insured that you give or the value of your car. So the value that you give to the insurer or the underwriter, and based on certain other risk factors, they look at the make of the car, the year of manufacture, and certain other factors, and based on that they'll calculate your premium for you. Third party premiums are fixed. So irrespective of the car, you are bound to pay the same premium. But with comprehensive, it depends on the amount of the car, and that's why more people run away from the comprehensive, because they feel it's expensive. But we will advise that if you have money, go in for the comprehensive, because when there's a loss, you benefit, the third party who is affected also benefit. You all get compensated, and everybody is happy.
everybody's happy. You have to smile. The reason behind the smile is something that we have to get to know later on. But interestingly, we're getting a lot of information from my expert here at the studio, Kwadwo Owusu is Executive Director for Insure Ghana Foundation, and Juolate Asirifi is also the patient coordinator with Insure Ghana Foundation, discussing the insurance policy in perspective this evening right here on Policy Text. You can as well send your questions and comments to the WhatsApp line on 0206 583 547. Let's go for our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll be detailing and let's say acknowledging the phone lines, and when we come back, you can at least call and let us know. And also, we'll be jumping to a very important sector. You know, SNET is a very familiar name to every worker because of how enormously it contributes to our pension and also our future as individuals and savings. One always say you have to save to enjoy later, but the ideology behind it is something that we'll be addressing shortly. Do you have to enjoy now for tomorrow or save for tomorrow? It's a very interesting one there. But all challenges and all questions about your pensions, if you want to get them addressed, just send them to the WhatsApp line on 0206 583 547. When we come back after this break, that will be the next segment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Is it really the case that new regime means new laws, new policies, and new people to manage Ghana's economy? Are you satisfied with the way policies and laws are being implemented in the country? Well, no need to worry, as Policy Desk fills you in with socio-economic and political issues that needs attention to drive Ghana's developmental agenda. My name is Winston Tackie, and I'll be your host on Policy Desk. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. as we dig deep into issues of national interest. Policy Desk, implementation is what we advocate.
Looking for a venue for your wedding reception, conferences and retreats, outside catering, recreation? Look no further than Coconut Grove Beach Resort Hotel, located in Elmina. Coconut Grove Hotels, memories worth repeating.
You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. You've been kept down for much too long. Stand up, please, and say I am free. Don't forget you are welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome
Coconut Grove Hotels, memories worth repeating.
It's amazing how in this age and time, people still consider their children to be their pension. You cannot guarantee what your child becomes in future or whether they will live that long. This is why you have to work on getting your own pension, and no one does it better than Pen Trust Limited. Pen Trust is the only pensions trustee with a wide regional and district presence in Ghana. You can do business with us wherever you are in Ghana. We combine discipline and technology to make sure that your second and third tier pension funds are managed objectively and in accordance with your decisions and investment objectives. We act with discipline always. Come to us, relax, and your future will be taken care of. Locate Pen Trust on the 6th floor of Premier Towers, opposite Pension House, near the National Theatre. You may call us on 030-290-1500 or 030-290-0989. Pen Trust, we act with discipline always. Pen Trust is a member of Group Indom.
GN Bank has come on board. Hooray! Did you take a loan from the Student Loan Trust Fund for your tertiary education? Having challenges on how to pay back the student loan? Relax. You can now pay your student loan at GN Bank. GN Bank, the bank that provides unparalleled excellence in service anytime, any place, and anywhere. The good news is that you don't have to be a customer of GN Bank before you can repay your loan. All you need is to walk into any branch of GN Bank nationwide and make your payment. GN Bank can also set up a standing order or undertake transfers directly from a person's account to that of Student Loan Trust Fund. But this is for interested persons who will open an account with us. Remember to pay your student loan in any of our 108 locations nationwide. For more information, call us on 0302-218855 or 020-2220-360. Or email us at info@gnbank.com. You can also visit our website www.gnbankghana.com. GN Bank, the People's Bank.
Do you know that there are more successful people in Ghana today than before? Well, that is the truth, and the secret is in prudent financial planning with the right financial manager. You need to know the right fund manager who spends your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. That manager is at Gold Coast Fund Management. At Gold Coast, your money never sleeps. It revolves every second to give you more money for use when you really need it. For the past 21 years, Gold Coast Fund Management has held a strong reputation of spending people's money to beat inflation, depreciation, and treasury bill rates. Put your money to work. Move from savings to investment. Pay your investment tithe into the Gold Fund and Gold Money Market Fund, and be assured that when you are in need, you can turn to them to resolve your financial problems. Gold Coast Fund Management. Investment advice worth its weight in gold.
Looking for a venue for your wedding reception, conferences and retreats, outside catering, recreation? Look no further than Coconut Grove Beach Resort Hotel, located in Elmina. Coconut Grove Hotels, memories worth repeating.
You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. You've been kept down for much too long. Stand up, please, and say I am free. Don't forget you are welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and gay. You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. All will be happy and
Coconut Grove Hotels, memories worth repeating.
Business challenges are really dynamic, and corporate organizations need dynamic leaders.
Welcome back to Policy Desk Live on BTA. This evening we're discussing the insurance sector, and indeed pursuing a national holistic insurance policy, the direction so far from what the law says about insurance in Ghana. But this evening we've started at length when it comes to insurance, spoken at length, touched on very important aspect of it. But let me take some messages that have come through the WhatsApp line. Some have been questioning, asking very important questions concerning the security of their insurance and that they've subscribed to various companies in the country. One says, it's asked, first of all, you can send your name and where you send your messages from as well, so that I can acknowledge that on the show. Can we say insurance is a way of investment in future? If you can explain that. That is the question he's asking. Can we say insurance is a way of investment into the future? If you can explain that. And I'm Samson. I have been using half of my salary investing in lifetime need insurance, which will mature 10 years time. My friend told me it's wasting of time. It's a waste of time, and I will not get good interest on it. So he advised me to stop and buy the time reaching maturity time. I'm not getting that grammar right, but it says I'm not sure that by the maturity time, by the time it matures, the value will increase. I want your advice. Please tell me what to do. I think he's asking for, he subscribed to an insurance and the interest on it is yet to mature 10 years time. So he's asking the whole risk of putting his money as an insurance package, looking at the premium and the interest that we to accumulate after 10 years, is it a formidable risk to subscribe to? That is what Samson is asking. So first of all, let's address Samson's case.
Okay, so Samson, what I'll tell Samson is that this is pure life insurance. He has taken a life insurance cover, and it's a good thing Why? Because he's killing two birds with one stone. Because when you take a life insurance cover, in this modern day, we have moved away from the traditional life insurance cover, which is purely insurance. Now, the insurance that he has taken is an investment cover and also an insurance cover. It has.
Now you're broken it into two dimensions.
Yes.
No, just simplify it.
So the package that he has taken is an insurance policy.
Okay.
But in the insurance package, there's an investment component. So, in the lifespan of the policy, if something happens to the life insured on the policy, he gets the sum assured that he chose. It could be 5,000, it could be 10,000. He didn't really state.
Nothing happens to the premium.
Nothing happens to the premium. Okay, it depends. So, for instance, if the sum assured, let's say the policy holder, something is the policy holder, something is also covered under the policy. So something also puts somebody else, like a brother, a sister, a parent, on the policy. So if something happens to them, they are covered under the policy. So all of them are covered under the policy. So in case something's mom is no more, something gets the sum assured on the mom, still the policy will be running. If the next person goes, you get until the end of the policy, and you also get your investment amount. Fine, it's not the same as what you put in the bank or in a treasury. The reason being that in a treasury, there's no insurance component on it. So if something happens, you are just getting that amount. It could be that you saved for just a year. So you are getting your compound amount. But if you come to insurance, you are getting a sum assured. It could be that even what you've contributed doesn't even make up your sum insured.
Wow.
So it's a laudable thing that he's doing.
Savings and insurance and investment.
Yes.
Put together.
Yeah.
Put together.
And why is it something that people, or let's say your clientele, people are really running towards that particular direction, that particular option?
Yes, the reason clients tend to have negative perception when, let's say, at the end of the term, nothing happens to the person on the policy, so they come back to take their investment component. Then they are worried because it's then lower, forgetting that there was an insurance component. The whole idea of insurance is that you're putting something down to safeguard just in case something happens. So if nothing happens and they come for their investment, they are then worried that if I had put it in a treasury, I would have gotten more. But other people also come and they're excited because something happened and they got more. So as Eddie said earlier, it's the dynamics.
All right.
Yeah.
Does that explain the policy framework that was enacted in 2014 that made mention of the no premium, no coverage policy that is required by the National Insurance Commission to be wholly be the new direction of insurance in Ghana?
Okay, basically, initially, insurers were, let me use the word, selling insurance on credit. So they give a 3-month period, 90-day period to pay. So, and it got to a time the losses the insurers were making, it was affecting reinsurers. Reinsurance is simply insurers insuring. So when an individual comes to an insurance company to insure, the insurance company don't just sit down with the funds. In as much that they invest, they also share the risk to other bigger financial companies called reinsurers. So they cede to them. So what happens is that people don't pay their premium, and because the policy you could take an insurance cover on credit, people are just taking without paying. So it got to a time the losses in the industry was so high, so huge. So this forced the NIC to come out with a directive that from April 2014, all policies should be on the no premium, no cover. So it's simply no premium, no cover. If you don't pay, you are not going on cover.
I believe this explains Samson's position at the moment. Now we'll move to the case that has consistently been I've been getting messages and calls from individuals who have complained or have questions about their SNIT contribution, and now we're going to delve into that aspect. But let me always say that the phone lines have been activated. You can call into the show on 030-2211-409, 030-2211-409, 0302-2211-409. Let's get your voice, let's get your comments, and also your contributions. What do you think your whole insurance policy, and what do you think is the perception that has consistently been bedeviling the whole industry? But interestingly, there's been a lot of laws that comes by, but the laws have not really come down. Like always, we get a conversation. Ghana we have plenty laws, but the implementation is the challenge.
Yeah.
And this by law, you're supposed to consistently pay an amount of money that has been subscribed to be for our own pension. But who manages what according to the law? How much is taken according to the law? Individuals don't have that information, but they also only know that a deduction is made. Some even don't know that a deduction is made on their salaries.
Yeah, okay.
That particular impression and that particular case where, before we talk about the claim, let's discuss the SNIT. What is SNIT, basically?
Okay.
Let's say social protection policy, basically.
Okay, basically, after the World War, there was industrialization, so most governments sought to put something together for their citizens, so that just in case they are out of job or they grow and they don't have enough income flowing, there's something for them. So what happened is that they brought out this scheme. So this scheme is simply to provide a regular income flow after your end of service. So whilst you are actively working, and a percentage of your salary is putting down for you for future when you can't work anymore. So basically that's the baseline. But recently, after the enactment of the new Pension Act, there was an addition. Initially, pension was only covering the formal sector. So those in the informal sector they didn't really have anything in place for them unless you do your own saving somewhere. But now the new act has really brought everybody together. They've now added the tier 3 that covers the informal sector or voluntary contribution. So now we can say it's a complete package. We have the tier 1, which is the SNIT, tier 2, which is the occupational scheme, and the tier 3 for the informal for everybody.
It became quite topical debate, a very serious debate amongst workers and government about who really is monitoring or watching over the investment. That is possibly the tier 2 became quite topical. Now let's take it one by one. You quite explained why we need pension as an individual. What is the government's intention behind it? But let's break about the law that currently the National Pension Act that was in 2008, what it says about how much is supposed to go to what. So indeed you've told us the allocations, but how much?
Okay.
Who takes care of what?
Okay, so basically it's supposed to be 18.5% of your salary. But what happens is that it's contributory, so sharing. The employer takes part, the employee also takes part. But together it's supposed to be 18.5%. Now the employee takes 5.5%. So when you get your pay slip, you should see a 5.5% deduction on your salary going to SNIT. The employer takes 13%. The 13% is not taken from your salary, but it's calculated on your salary. So it's calculated on your salary, but it's paid by the employer.
Okay.
So the 5.5 is calculated on your salary, but it's paid by you. So it's taken from your money, but the 13% is calculated on your salary, but it's paid by the employer.
Okay.
Together, 18.5% given there.
And where does
yes, so we now have 18.5%. SNIT takes 11%. So out of the 18.5, SNIT takes 11%. Now the tier 2, which goes to the private trustees, they take 5. And the remaining 2.5% goes to the National Health Insurance Scheme.
Wow.
That's how come when the National Health Insurance authorities come to you to register and you are a SNIT contributor, the amount you pay is quite lesser than somebody who doesn't pay SNIT, because your 2.5 is already in there.
So at the moment, it kind of looks like the National Health Insurance policy, which is now became quite topical about the amount of money required to sustain the scheme, is all because of lack of individuals being subscribed to the SNIT contribution. Could it be the case?
Yeah, we can also say that you can say the informal sector is quite more than the formal sector. That's why sometimes the formal sector tend to complain that the money of the few is used for projects for the many, because the formal sector, the burden is on the few for people in the formal sector in terms of income tax. Whilst the informal sector, there's nothing like that. They just take these municipal and petroleum taxes. Yeah, so basically, yes, it's a factor. It's a big factor. But I think the government can do more, and to also tax the informal sector, to also contribute to the NHIS scheme.
Indeed. Yeah. I'm sure it would throw some more light on that.
Okay, so what I'll say is that before the new Pensions Act 766 came into being, there were a lot of inefficiencies in the system, because at that time it was only SNIT that was managing, or that was administering the pension scheme. So there were a lot of inefficiencies, system breakdowns, and a lot. So it affected a lot of pensioners' pensions when they went on retirement. That's how come the government came in with a new 3-tier pension, the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, to have a more robust and a more efficient system to run, so that when people go on retirement, they have something to smile home with. So now, like Joel said, the tier 1 is being managed by SNIT. Tier 2, which we call the occupational pension scheme, is being managed by trustees. We have a lot of trustees being registered by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. And mind you, the NPRA came in when the new act also came in to license, regulate, and monitor the funds of pensioners. Then the tier 3, which is for the informal sector. Even with the people in the formal sector, even though the tier 1, tier 2 are compulsory, tier 3 is voluntary, but you can still contribute something towards what we call the provident fund, so that at the end of retirement you get a lump sum payment from that. Let me also say that per the new insurance, the new Pensions Act, 35% of your salary is non-taxable. So like Joel said, 18.5, 11% goes to SNIT, 2.5 goes to NHIS, 5% contribution from the staff. Then you can also contribute an additional 16.5% from your salary towards the 3rd tier, which is not taxable. And I think it's good.
Indeed. Yeah. What makes some people wealthier during their retirement moment compared to others? Because there are instances where individuals work several years, putting their heart towards building this nation, with the impression that I've been paying my SNIT contribution over 30 years or 50 years, and they get to the whole point where now this is my judgment amount, and they get there, and the kind of verdict being given them is something that they are always shocked. What really causes the disparity and the gap between the rich and the poor at the end of the working years?
Okay, what I'll say is that I think the 13% that the employer contributes is based on your salary. So say if I'm taking 30,000 a month and Joe is taking 1,000 a month, obviously 13% on my 30,000 will be higher than the 13% on his 1,000. The tier 1 is a defined benefit policy. When you say defined benefit, it means that there's a predetermined amount you're supposed to get at the end of retirement, and that one is paid spread over, is what we call annuity, spread over a period. So every month you are paid something. So if somebody is earning higher now, so 13% on his salary now, 30% on mine, plus the 5% on this. So obviously the contribution that I'll be making towards the pension scheme or the pension fund will be higher than what somebody with a lower salary will be contributing towards it. So at the end of the day, when you're all going for our package, what I contributed will be higher than what you contributed. That's how you see those days people were not being paid higher amounts. So now you hear stories that somebody takes 30 cedis a month as pension amount, and that's peanut. That's too small. So I think the disparity comes from the salaries that people are being paid.
I heard people even take almost like 9,000 a month being given, and could that be shockingly true?
Yeah, it's true. And so what we advise is that, you know, sometimes you take when you're being employed in an organization, you're being given an offer. What they do is that some employers will prefer to pay you something lower and use the others as incentives, other packages. You know, those ones, they don't pay tax on it. So instead of you maybe getting 3,000, they say, okay, let's state on your salary that you're taking 1,000. We pay the other things to you in bonuses and stuff.
Allowance.
Forgetting that the 1,000 will be what we use to calculate your pension. And at the end of the day, it will go against you. So I think people should get that understanding. Instead of them paying those things to you as bonus and things, let them pay it to you as your salary. So that the contribution towards the extended fund will be much higher than what they'll be paying. Because employers will want to run away from this. Okay, they want to pay because on bonus, other things, and they'll pay something small as salary because that's what they'll be paying the tax on and everything. So I think employees should look at that side too, because it will all come back later in the day when you are going on retirement. The amount you'll be getting will be too small and you'll not be happy.
Yeah, so let me touch on also you can also take extra. You know, the 18.5 is the basic one. At least talked about the 35%. So what you have there is the basic, is the grassroots. So you can build on it. So you can take extra pension products. So fine, if your employer is giving you 1,000 cedis, extra bonus of say 3,000, making 4,000. Why don't you then apportion to several pension products? It's quite better than just going by the 18.5%. You can also take extra pension products, and it all ends up there. So basically, that's
this is a very interesting aspect to the discussion, which I'm sure you'd like to ask your various questions that is really eating your minds out. But the numbers again to call into the show is 0302 2211 0302 2211 You can phone in and let's get your submissions live on the show. Like we said, this is where we bring you insightful, informative discussion right here on Policy Deck. So, you know, the pension system in Ghana is really, really interesting. Depending on who explains it to you, I bet you these are the experts giving you a perspective. And like we say, information is your weapon. When you are informed, you are solidly secured of what you really want to know. So the numbers are on your screen. So you can phone into the show on 030-2211-409. Let us get your name and where you're calling from, and let's get your submissions live on the show. So now we move to we're still on the pension case, because the PS is a very every Ghanaian worker wants to know what his money is being used for. And you know, you made it quite simplistic. You're telling us about how much is going to where and who is managing what. But when they say trustee, what qualifies an entity by Ghana's law to be a trustee? Is he an investor, someone that you can trust your money from? But what does it really mean to be a trustee in this instance?
Okay, so they are also established companies, basically. There are other forms of trustees, but in the pension sector, there are also forms of companies. So there are so many trustees that have sprung up, and they are regulated by the NPRA. You simply need to go through the normal company registration, capital requirements. So the NPRA specifies what you need to do, what you need to have to become a trustee, basically, and you need to be licensed by them regularly. So basically, that's what you need to be a trustee. You can go to the NPRA website. There are a whole lot of trustees there. Those are the credible ones. Because
now I almost asked, because you just made the process quite simple, so everyone can just stand up, form a corporation, and give it these various details and symptoms, or let's say things that indicate that it can be trusted. But formidability, like how trustworthy could they be? What do you look for? What do you look at for, basically?
Well, I believe in state institutions, so I believe the NPRA is doing its job very well. And if you go online and you go to the NPRA website, the list of trustees there are the ones you can trust. I won't say that maybe the NPRA.
The reason why we always look forward for when it comes to the case of money is about the integrity of the company that you are to start trusting with, because we've seen instances in the microfinance sector. Laws have been there, the guidelines have been there, but yet still we saw loopholes where companies took the initiative of duping individuals of huge sums of money, which became quite topical in the country. Just this afternoon, we hear cases where the Bank of Ghana has even closed down, shut down some companies, the microfinance companies in the country. So, irrespective of we having laws and guidelines, yet still we still have dubious companies who outwit their system and still come out to say they have the credibility at the end of the day. Is that likelihood to come in the insurance sector?
Let me come in here.
Yeah.
You know, now there are 3 tiers.
Sure.
The tier 1 is being managed by Senate. The tier 2, the occupational pension fund, is being managed by trustees. Even under that one, we have the trustees, we have the fund managers, we have the custodians. So the trustees are more of like an investment advisors. So, and that one, your employer chooses the trustee. So there's competition. There are a lot of trustees, but you have to do your due diligence and find out which trustee is performing well in the market. Because the tier 2 is a defined contribution scheme. And when we say defined when I say the tier 1, which is a defined benefit, you have a predetermined amount you're supposed to get at the end of retirement. But with the defined contribution, is based on the investment prowess of the trustee. Because that one is risk, like we are investing. So if there are returns on the investment, then you are good. So if you get a good trustee that will invest in good stocks, that will bring you good returns, then you are good to go. So the trustees, like Joel said, are licensed and regulated by the NPRA. So you need to get a very good trustee. They will serve as like investment advisors to you, but they don't keep the money, unlike the microfinance companies that take people's deposits and use it for other things. So the trustee will then appoint a fund manager who will be managing your fund for you, and the money should be placed with a custodian, which are normally commercial banks. So the money is with the bank. The trustee is like an investment advisor. They appoint a fund manager to manage your fund for you. So they'll be supervising them. They'll be checking, making sure that the monies are being invested in the right stocks. That will yield good results for you. So the appointment of a trustee is based or is being done by your employer. So your employer should seek the interest. So there's something called a fiduciary responsibility the employer should have for their employees. So you need to seek the interest of your employees by appointing a good trustee, who then appoint a fund manager to manage the funds, but the monies are kept with the custodian. So the trustees and the fund managers don't have direct access to the money, that they manage it. So we can't have a situation of the DKMs where people take the monies and they run away with.
All right. Now the monies, where your heart is, like we say, where your treasure is, that's where your heart is. So definitely, so who keeps your heart and manages your heart is very important. That is where the emotional intelligence comes in. So basically, intelligent movement, or what would you say, individuals who is not privy of the information of who a trustee is, who is a fund manager is, what must they look out for, basically, as a good trustee, before they can subscribe to its services?
So I think you can look at their track record. Like Joel said, all the trustees are on the NPR website. You can go there and find out who is a good trustee. Just don't go out doing business with anybody. So you check the company's track record, check their profile, check who their managers are, who their board of directors are, who are the people behind the company. Check what they've done, who are their major clients. You need to find out all these things to be sure that you are dealing with a credible company. Because if you just go in and deal with any company and it backfires, it goes against you. So you need to check who their clients are. Most of them state their clients on their website. You can even go to that client that they've listed, find out if these people are doing well at the front. And once you are with them too, you can request for maybe quarterly or annually statement to see how your fund is doing. So if you realize that they are not doing well, then you take it from them and move it to another trustee. So there are checks and balances in there for you to know that these people are really investing my funds, but they are not taking the monies and using it for anything else, but they are really investing it in good stocks, in good securities that will yield better returns for me.
Well, there are instances where individuals go to these trustees, talk to them, and they are bombarded with a lot of vocabularies that financial vocabularies they have no nothing about in the name of safeguarding their integrity as a corporation. In that instance, who is a formidable lawyer in the institution for them to follow, to have their grievances addressed? Because there are a lot of trustees you made mention of, irrespective of them being listed on the list of the NPRA, still there might be some discrepancies as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Edward.
Yes. So if you realize that there are discrepancies, I think you have to fall back on NPRA because they are the regulators. So you need to report to them that these are the things I'm saying and it doesn't work in my interest. Then the NPRA will come in and rectify the situation or find solution to it. So if you notify that there's something going wrong, quickly notify the NPRA because they are the regulators and they will come in and solve the problem.
Wow. And all of the issues being discussed here on Policy Desk this evening. If you have any question to that effect, on pension, you've already have your pension. You've been contributing enormously to having a secure and comfortable future for your tomorrow. But you're wondering what are the structures, what does the law say, how my money is being managed? You have questions to ask, and let us get it right here on Policy Desk this evening. My guest this evening, Kwadwo Owusu, is Executive Director for Ensure Ghana Foundation, and also Joe Latte, the Asirifi, is Operations Coordinator with Ensure Ghana Foundation. So let's get your thoughts here on the show on 0302-2211-409. These are the phone lines that you can call into the show on 0302-2211-029. And also you can send your messages through the WhatsApp line on 0206-583-547. I just got some few messages to read, and this one is from okay, they say BTA, you are the best. Happy Mother's Day to my lovely mommy, Madam Nyako Christiana at Ahafo, Kenyasi, Guamo, and Saman. Okay, thank you. I think it's what like you said, I said earlier, people still wish their Mother's Day.
Yeah, definitely.
National Women's Day. All right, so we're still live on Policy Desk. Let's move to a very interesting aspect, but all questions concerning insurance this evening is what we're touching on. There's been consistent correlation, or let's say collaboration between getting insurance moving with economic growth. How secured is our growth? How secured is our businesses? How secure is the economy in Ghana? But most importantly, we've been looking at ensuring our asset as a nation and looking at that from that dimension. And what are the things that we have to look at for as a country? Because when Ghana first came across oil, discovered oil, the case came out that whether hedging is a formidable option, whether we should hedge our oil, where when the prices fall, we can be cushioned against the falling prices. And in that instance, taking that bold initiative of subscribing to insurance, insuring our assets, insuring our currency towards any shortfall, all those things. And why is it that African countries are not really looking at that dimension and therefore looking insurance from micro perspective instead of taking it from a nationalistic angle? Edward.
Okay. What I say is that I think it all comes back to the education too as well. So in Africa, I think the highest penetration rate is 13%. That's South Africa, and I think about 5 or 6 companies go beyond 2%. The rest of us are all below the 2%. But in Ghana here, I think it's about 1.5% penetration rate for a population of over 26 million. So I think the time has come for us to take insurance from the grassroots, because the informal sector, I think, employs more people than the formal sector. So if we are only going to concentrate our effort on only getting the fewer people in the formal sector, then the industry will not grow. because if you're able to develop the micro insurance sector very well, if you're able to educate people very well, people at the grassroots, for them to understand why they need to get insurance, because I believe people go to the banks, open bank accounts, put their monies in there without being forced. And I believe that is the point we have to get to with insurance to the point that somebody just gets up and says, no, I'm going to start a new business, I need to insure it. I've saved my money, I've built my house, I need to insure it against future possible losses. I've acquired this new asset, I need to insure it. Then bringing it to the national level, I think in Ghana, I think recently, about a year or two, the national drugstore got bent and there was no insurance on it. Because people take things for granted. It's government. If something happens, government. But you can imagine how much was lost and how much they need to, government has to dip its hands into its coffers to reinstate that thing. But if they had insurance at that time, insurance could have taken care of that. So I think it's a national issue, it's a national problem that we all need to come on board, and we can't leave it just for the NIC. It's a national responsibility because insurance contributes a lot to the economic good. If the insurance sector is expanded, it employs more people, so there'll be more jobs created. Insurance, we pay taxes. Once more people are employed, they'll pay income tax. That brings revenue to the government. Companies will pay corporate taxes. That also brings revenue to the government. So we are reducing unemployment. Government is getting more revenues. They'll be acquiring more assets. They'll be paying taxes on it when they import duties. So it benefits the whole nation. I think it's something that we should all look at it. Let's put our effort in. Let's educate more people. Let people get to understand that. Let's make insurance a product of choice, not a product of forcing people to get it. But a product of choice that I can just get up one day, walk into an insurance company, get a policy, knowing that if something happens, then I'm covered.
You know, Joe, what sort of boost does the industry need to be quite vibrant in this dispensation? Looking at the onslaught of technology, which has made things quite easy and accessible, this provides a big platform for most sectors. And now with the insurance sector, apart from technology in many aspects, what else do you think can individuals or corporations or government policy implementation, not just a policy but the implementation, strictly help boost the sector?
Okay, basically, as I said earlier on, this boils down to education. But education in what form? Education must be brought in several forms. It must be down to the grassroots. I really acknowledge the National Insurance Commission because they've really tried to expand insurance to the grassroots by introducing the micro insurance program. Basically, micro insurance is just, as the name implies, micro insurance. Insurance for the informal, insurance for lower income earners. So education is the whole thing. We need to kill the perception. Because you can educate, and people are dormant and people don't really want to relieve themselves of the perception. The education will still not go anywhere. So we need to kill the perception that insurers are thieves, the perception that I'm paying premiums, I'm not getting anything back. But if they understand the impact that insurance can bring, you are paying premium. The same premium we used to pay claims, the same premium we used to pay taxes, the same premium we used to buy assets and employ people. So if people understand this big agenda that insurance pushes, it's to go a long way to help the country. And I know there's something in the pipeline that mostly the government does not insure its assets. That's one thing that's also very painful for me, because as a government, you should lead the forefront. So the government, the NIC is also pushing that. Very soon, I know there will be a act review, and they will incorporate that, and all the national assets will be insured. That will be a big boost to the sector.
Is it? No, always we keep hearing education sensitization.
Yes.
Is it likely the NIC has more office nationwide?
to boost this sensitization. And with the onslaught of the informal sector, we always make mention of the fact that they're using microinsurance as a formidable option to get access to them. You know, you have to make it accessible. Is the NIC accessible nationwide? Yes, it is, but it's not really down the drain. They are doing a lot well as compared to previous years, because they've made themselves more accessible, but they can do more. Basically, yes. So one thing about the industry is that everybody is also on board. Insurance brokers, insurance agents, life insurers, general insurers, they are all on board. The Ghana insurance companies have come together to form the Ghana Insurance Association. They are also pushing the awareness. Brokers have come together to form GIBA, Ghana Insurance Brokers Association. They are also pushing the forefront. Insure Ghana Foundation is also there pushing the forefront. We are all combining our forces to help sensitize and educate people. So insurers have broker networks, insurers have agency networks, they have offices. So it's not only on the NIC. So even if, let's say, the NIC cannot be found in WA, there's the insurance consortium in WA pushing the agenda. So basically, yes, even though we can do more, insurers can do more, and they are still pushing. In 2007, a new policy was introduced that has to do with the banker assurance. And what does it really entail, and what does it really mean? Because I'm getting the light that the term was kind of new to some subscribers. So as the name implies, bank assurance. So bank plus insurance. So distribution insurance to the banking sector. Simply that's bank assurance. So insurance products are designed by the insurance company, sent to the bank, because they know that the banking sector, the penetration in the banks is really high. So why don't we use that mode to sell insurance to people? So you design the product, it gives to Bank A. Bank A sells the product as its own, but it's being underwritten by the insurance company. Simply underwriting is the insurance is assessing the frequency and severity of the risk. Then deciding, okay, I want to That's accept. too much vocabulary. So you assess it, the risks. You assess this glass. Should I accept it or not? Okay, I will accept. Oh, it's broken a little, it's cracked. It might break in some few minutes. I will accept, but I'll charge higher premium. I won't accept. That's basically underwriting. I'm underwriting the product. So the insurance company will design the product, give it to the bank to sell. Then when the bank sells, it brings to the insurance company to underwrite it, basically. So that's bank assurance. Now you might also know that the telcos are also pushing the agenda. It's basically the same thing, but this time it's telcos and insurance. Tigo Insurance, Tigo won't underwrite the policy. I think it will not be formidable for us to use a corporation's name. So
sorry.
So
a telco.
Yes.
Selling insurance cover. So what happens is that the insurance company designs the product. It's the telco that will distribute the product. The telco's name is on it, all right, but it's not the telco that's underwriting the product. It's the insurance company. So mostly, if you go into details and we see the policy, you see that they do the commercial, all right, they put underwritten by so and so insurance company.
Wow.
So those are various forms that the insurance companies have derived to just distribute the product.
Meaning that this sensitization exercise happen all around us, but we just need to be pinpointed to it before we can know that. Adjei?
Yeah, so what I also add is that this all comes down to the efforts being put into reach more people with insurance. So we are using different distribution channels. You know, there are different channels of distribution. We have the direct, where the companies sell directly to the insured. We have the broker distribution channel, and now the bank assurance, the telcos also selling insurance. These are ways of reaching out to more people. And you know, insurance, like I said from the beginning, is intangible. So selling insurance is basically based on trust. and the relationship that you create with a person. So the idea behind bank assurance is that if somebody trusts you enough to put his billions of money into your bank for you to keep for him or her, then the person should be able to trust you selling insurance to him or her. You understand? People don't really want to be stressed. And with the bank assurance, once you are signed onto the policy, they deduct the premium from your account.
Automatically?
Yes, because you are already dealing with a company. So they sell the policy to you, then it's paid directly from your account. Yeah. So sometimes you don't even know. Before you realize, they bring your policy documents to you. Mm-hmm. So there's no stress. The thing has been done on your behalf.
Without consulting the...
No, they will consult you. So for instance, now people take loans. Let me use motor. People take loans to buy cars. So if the bank you are taking the loan from has a bank assurance department, then they will purchase the car for you. They will do the insurance for you. They will let you know that this is important. And what the insurance some of the banks do to is that they make premiums. Now there's no premium, no cover. So if you don't pay your premiums, you don't get cover. So what they do is that the banks pay the insurance in full for you, then every month they'll be deducting you. So say your premium is 3,000. You don't have the 3,000 at hand. The bank pays the 3,000 to the insurance company. You are giving the cover, then every month they deduct from your bank account. So that's also another flexible way of selling insurance to more people. The telcos, we are all using mobile phones with numbers. Okay, yes. So your telco sends you a message. Send this to this short code, and every day that you are deducted say 10 pesos. Okay, my network, I have signed on to my network for that. So every day they deduct 10 pesos. At the end of the month, they send you a message that you are entitled to this amount of benefit within the month. So these are all ways of reaching out to more people, because you didn't have people ordinarily walking into an insurance company to sign up, but once they get a text on their phone telling them about this insurance, or they walk into their banking hall and they are being told about these things, they also create awareness, and people tend to patronize that more.
So right now, Insure Ghana Foundation, what is your mission basically, and what is it that you think is a core value in insurance that Ghanaians need to pursue in order to make their life holistically secured, insured, and protected for their own self and their families?
Okay, our mission as a foundation is to increase is to make insurance a product of choice. That's our mission, to make insurance a product of choice. We believe that people should buy insurance out of their own free will. So we've set a target for ourselves. That's our vision, that by the year 2024, we should be able to work towards hitting 10% penetration rate. We started Insure Ghana Foundation in 2014. So we set a 10-year gap for ourselves that by the year 2024, we should hit a 10% penetration rate. That's our vision. That's what we've set for ourselves. And that's what we are working seriously towards. So what do? We go out there, we've segmented that. We don't want to do mass something. We don't just take everybody and talk to. We've segmented the people into categories. So we have secondary schools, we have markets, we may have drivers, so based on where we are going, then we will tailor our activities to suit them. So when we go there, we're able to educate them on what they need. Because for instance, I can't go to a lorry station and start telling them about banking products. They don't need that. At the lorry station, what they need mostly is a motor. And they need to understand why they need the motor. So basically that's what we are doing at IGF. So we want to hit 10% penetration rate by the year 2024.
That is a big target.
That's a big target, yeah.
Because if the whole country cannot even hit 3%, you Insure Ghana Foundation go to hit 10%. African countries cannot even hit that target. So that's a very ambitious. At Insure Ghana Foundation, we are not selfish. We are not striving to achieve it on our own. That's why we are in partnership with so many people. We are in partnership with state institutions. We are in partnership with the other private institutions also, just to push the agenda. Corporate institutions, churches, we are all in partnership with them. We are not striving to achieve it ourselves. It's a national agenda. As I said, insurance should be a product of choice. You should get your payslip and say, no, where's my insurance component? There should be an insurance component on your payslip. there should be a pension component, extra pension component on your pay slip. It should be a product of choice. You go in, get insurance cover at your free will. They don't call you. The marketer don't just come to you. Oh, sign here. No. It should be a national agenda, as I said earlier. So basically, we are doing this. We are so grateful that we wrote to the NIC and they've really approved of what you are doing. We are also working very hard to push more people recruit more people and push more people into the field, be able to educate them more. Universities are offering insurance courses. Why don't you utilize these students, give them practical experience before they start working? It's also a route we are also taking. The business students in the SS, general students, all of them, why don't you mobilize them? Why don't you catch them young? Just imbibe in them the insurance principle so that they come out, they really understand what insurance means and they are able to educate their parents. So those are various ways that we've brought together with the team at Insure Ghana Foundation.
So you are spreading the gospel of insurance.
Basically, that's it.
Basically, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. You know, it reminds me of a particular adage. You know, you have a passion. It appears you are the only one who sees the lights, and you are pointing everyone to the lights, and they keep asking you. They are still in darkness. Therefore, you will be the light. Like the Bible says, we are the light of the world. Those who live in darkness have seen the great light. So, greatly, we are pursuing this agenda. Like we say, this platform gives you that option. Yeah, like Ghana, we always need a very inclusive insurance policy that takes into consideration all the various aspects of our lives, social, business, and all the things needs to be covered by insurance. But as to what really covers that insurance is what we discussed this evening on policy. We've touched a lot, we've spoken a lot, touching on our pension scheme and also motor insurance, car insurance, and all the policies that really favors individualistic aspect of our insurance is something that we've thrown more light on. Let me take final comment from my panelists here in the studio as we bring the curtain down for this evening's discussion. All right, so Joe.
Okay,
not too soon we are coming to the end of the show.
Yeah. See how time flies. Insure Ghana Foundation, basically, as I said, is a foundation to educate the public, sensitize the public about insurance. We are here to stay. All I'll say is that you like our page on Facebook. It's Insure Ghana Foundation on Facebook. You can send us a mail, insureghanafoundation@gmail.com. You can also call us. If you go visit our Facebook page, there are so many things we are doing on Facebook, so many articles to read, so many things to get yourself educated about in insurance. I'll say that the individual must take insurance very, very serious. Insurance is a source of protection. Insurance is, you don't just pay insurance in vain. I always say that even if you pay insurance and you are not getting anything back, just your fellow human being is getting something. I know people will be quite like, hey, but you should have the whole agenda. Look at what happened at Seiko the last time. They were now calling on the government to come and give them something. If there was a policy, insurance cover, no need. The government will use that amount to maybe build a school, a dam somewhere. But the government needed to bring that money for that project. So basically, what I'll say is that insurance must be a product of choice.
All right. Well said there, Edward.
Okay, I'll just conclude by saying that, you see, Jesus Christ said that, cast your burden on me, or cast your burden on me, for I care for you, and I'll give you rest. So if you want a peace of mind, get insurance. That's all.
Wow, now we have some preachers, insurance preachers here. All right, then. I'm really grateful having you this evening on the show. Kwadwo Owusu is an executive director with Insure Ghana Foundation, and Joe Latte Asirifi is operations coordinator with Insure Ghana Foundation. Gentlemen, it's really been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much. So good for the fruitful discussion. Thank you so much. Always, like we say, we bring you the best and insightful discussion from an objective perspective right here in Policy Desk. This evening we touched on insurance
like we said, the show is also available on our YouTube page and our Facebook page as well, on facebook.com/Business Television Africa. So you can visit our pages in case you missed. And also, we'll be coming to you live tomorrow as well. Tomorrow afternoon, before rebroadcast of the show at 2 p.m. In case you just tune in, don't worry, you didn't miss. So looking out for Friday's edition of Policy Desk. We'll be touching on quite a lot of interesting issues. So follow my page, Winston Tackie, on Facebook, and let's get into it as to what really is coming on Friday evening's show. Before I go, let me just say that insurance is something we all want. It's not something that we all want. Nobody wants insurance, but everybody needs it. Something you must need. And another thing I'll have to say that if a child, a spouse, a life partner, or a parent depends on you and your income, you need life insurance. My name is Winston Tackie. It's been my pleasure coming your way with the Policy Desk Live or BTA. Do enjoy your evening. Till then, bye-bye.
Is it really the case that new regime means new laws, new policies and new people to manage Ghana's economy? Are you satisfied with the way policies and laws are being implemented?
Looking for a venue for your wedding reception, conferences and retreats, outside catering, recreation? Look no further than Coconut Grove Beach Resort Hotel, located in Elmina. Coconut Grove Hotels, memories worth repeating.